What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Koopa G, or better known as Coop, bringing you guys another episode, new season, Koopa Key Podcast. Man, it feels good to be back. I definitely, it's been a minute. It's been quite a minute, and it's always in demand. Everybody's always asking me, like, "Yo, Coop, when you're gonna drop the next episode, man?" But we're back, man, and like I said, it feels good to be back. And today, I got my boy, the man, the myth, the legend, the Oklahoma's finest, my man TaylorSage. How you doing today, bro?
I'm lazy Sunday. I'm so glad to be here. I'm glad you're doing this again. Like I'm ready to see like the next episodes and stuff. I'm just excited for you.
Yeah, man. I mean, I appreciate it. It's been a long
Yeah.
time coming, and definitely you were one of those guys that were, kind of in my ear about it. Like, yo, man, you need to push that, man. So I mean, here we are, and
Yeah,
we're
man.
pushing it.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So if you guys are in the chat right now, I'll just kind of like if you're like in the Twitch chat, we're live right now as we are, streaming on Twitch TV/KoopaGTV. So if you guys are in the chat, I'll kind of get to your questions and stuff toward the end, and we're just kind of gonna let this episode play out here. But I just want to talk to you, man, and just really just kind of have good conversation and just really just talk about the FGC and kind of just give everybody your backstory, because I feel like it's a pretty good backstory, man, and just talk to people that don't know, man, and just kind of introduce yourself and just talk about how you got into the FGC in Oklahoma, man.
So I'm TaylorSage. As a long-standing manager, not that long in. I think we're rising up 4 years, 4.5, somewhere in there. And I just started playing Tekken by myself. I started playing the game. I had a roommate who lived with me, and he just brought it over, and we started playing. I played a little bit of Tekken 4, and he beat me. And he talked a little too much shit, where it kind of got under my skin, where I wanted to actually get good at the game.
Yeah.
And it's like it was a little too far. So I actually put effort into it, studied stuff, and then I found the little Majin clip. So it was going to be a King main, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so I just played the game. I just played not knowing how to punish, not knowing how to do anything. I just played the game a lot for the first 4 or 5 months. And I thought I was pretty raw. I thought I was good. I was like, I could beat some people online. I'm all right. Yeah. I'm in yellow ranks. I'm pretty fire. Yeah. And I saw that on the Facebook group for the Oklahoma City that they were doing the first speakeasy with Kellen.
Yeah.
And I went to that, and I met you. I met David. I met obviously Kellen, a bunch of those guys, and I was like, oh, I'm not good at all. And so but I had that first experience, I had so much fun. That's what reeled me into staying into the community. So yeah. I would say that speakeasy is what pulled me in.
Okay. And just kind of, I mean, just to go about that and kind of, just to go a little bit more onto that. I remember that, when I met you at the, the speakeasy, and that was kind of our first event, just coming off the ground, doing our thing independently, and we were in correlation with Kellen and the speakeasy, and it was a real successful event. And, that was kind of us on a whim, let's just try to get new blood out. And lo and behold, you were the new blood. So I remember you were coming to my house, yo, man, I'm trying to just learn.
Yeah.
And I didn't really, I hope, I'd taught or instilled a little bit in you, but I don't even try to take credit for that. That was all you. Where you're at now, that's all you do, for sure. But I just kind of gave you the baton and you ran with it, and definitely, man, I'm just happy that now hindsight, a few years later, it's just we'll play lobbies and you'll be whooping my ass now. And I'm like, Taylor, but it's dope. It's all love, man.
Yeah.
It's all love for sure.
The things you taught me that day, I still use today. I remember how we had to go in slow motion, had a backdash, and had to really fine tune it. And you taught me how to electric, misstep electric.
Yeah.
I was blown away.
Yeah, for sure, man. And that was really just my thing. I just wanted you to love the game how I love the game at the time, and now I just it's kind of a love-hate relationship with Tekken in general, right? I feel
that.
But I mean, definitely at that time I was just trying to get new blood in and really just appreciate the game, and we were growing. And I mean, that was kind of that, man. So just So just like talk about that, man, from moving on and like now you're here and now you're kind of established in like the community. I feel like the community really looks up to you, man, because they see the passion that you're putting in behind the game and the grind and the dedication, right? I see it, right? I mean, I've just seen how far you've came. At one point you were playing Bears as a main,
Yeah, I
So
remember that.
so just talk about like, if you were just to talk about your goals and things like that in like the community, right? The FGC, in general, like what are your goals as far as a player? Like where do you see yourself in the future for this and just this experience?
Yeah, so like I look at it like in terms like obviously like anything like short-term goals, long-term goals, you know what I'm saying? Like long-term goals, I hope to be like a competitive player on a national scene at some point. Short-term goals, I want to be at least the second best player in the state.
Yeah.
That's kind of like, and I know that's a hard task to do with Ray and Mario around and some of these cats, but that's kind of like I think we all have that same goal.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're talking about progressing. You just keep like chipping away at it. Like you learn something from one day. You just play a ton of Tekken. I got a coach, so that kind of like mainstreamed it. Shout out to Joey Fury for coaching me. You play in lobbies with people like of all different skill levels, and you just learn one thing after the other. I remember I played one of those first speakeasies. We were talking about it the other day. I didn't know how to punish.
Yeah.
Like that's how far away I was removed from actually playing the game. Now I'm talking about like timing mix-ups and quick loads of low lows with Jack and the kind of the meta of the game. So it feels like I'm not even playing the same game that I started playing.
Yeah.
But it just all encompasses. It's just building blocks. You learn one thing and then you add stuff to that one thing you learned. But as goals, I just want to be as competitive as I can be. I'll probably still keep doing events around here. But just be a team player for everybody.
Yeah.
I do all this stuff, like all the events and stuff like that, because I want to play. And if there's nothing available, I will make something so I can play.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel that. And I mean, like that's definitely how you guys were with the Frenzy. I know you guys were doing the Buffalo Brawls at the Frenzies, and then some of the colleges out here that have their esports program. You guys were in correlation with them doing that. So I mean, I definitely see the grind. You Ahab and all those guys. Shout out to just those guys and
shout out to Ahab.
Yeah, talk to me about like so you are kind of like I would say the head honcho for like the NWO, right? And that's kind of like you guys group out here. So talk to me like how that came about and like what inspired you to like just start that and like everybody just like NWO gang and like is it kind of just like you guys' little thing out here, or is it like are you trying to like expand on that a little bit and just talk to me about it?
I see Husky. What's up, Storm Husky? So when we first started, it was a direct response to Oni, directly responding to Oni, because you guys would run everything. So the best players were in Oni. It was like the elite squad, and I don't play second place. That's not how I do things. Okay. So I'm gonna get my own squad. We're gonna be better, and we're gonna like talk that shit. So that was a direct response to that. And so. Yeah, I mean, the guys that I played with a lot, like Ahab and San Fran, and obviously a Kairos. Hold on, my dog is going crazy on me.
No, you're fine, bro.
And all the Mario and we grinded already all together. Let's make it official. We're the guys that we want to beat. So that's why we did it. And we wanted a little rivalry. We wanted a little drama. We like the kind of the WWE showmanship of it.
Yeah.
So it's like it's more fun for us to get involved.
And I think that helps like communities grow, man. You got to have a little bit of friction, like whether, it's all fun and games and, it's all good, but like there's always, it's kind of like the UFC, right? You got to sell it in some type of way. You got to kind of Dana White it a little bit. And I think that helped us like, like who do these guys think they are? They just kind of come up and think they're like this shit now, like, no, we're the shit, and like, it just kind of was like this back and forth thing. And it's always been like that out here. Now, ever since that's just a thing, and I think it's fun. I think it's entertaining.
Yeah.
I think it keeps everybody engaged in it, and I like it or not. I like it a lot, man. And I'm happy that you started that.
Yeah,
But
and it's been a way for us to, like, obviously since we've been in the, I can connect with those guys just like you could with the Oni guys, and we could just do stuff together, like start the Buffalo Brawls or something, or
yeah,
with those guys, we really grind together when it comes to that game, and that's
yeah.
why I think a lot of us have improved so much in that crew.
Most definitely. I mean, all you
Mhm.
guys. I mean, I remember I just remember all of it, man. The beginning, I really just do like that. Speakeasy was really where it got started, man. And then from there, it
Mhm.
just kind of bloomed into something just beautiful. And you don't really think about it. And I talk to people all the time, and I always tell people out here, like, I just think there's no other scene in Oklahoma like Tekken. There just isn't, because even like during the pandemic, we were the only, I feel like, community that was really holding each other down. Like
Yeah.
we had the Oni League where we were like playing every Friday for 4 weeks, and we did the offline during COVID. And like for the money that we raised, the 4 weeks doing it, and then got everybody together. So we just tried, through it all, we've just tried to stay alive, But I don't really see that, and I could be wrong in other communities, But I definitely, the Tekken community for the most part, that's definitely where I've seen it the most. But moving on from that, we're kind of just like
By
shifting
the way,
gears
that
here.
was the Oni League. That was a blast. Like, I love
Yeah,
that. By the way,
I
that
loved
was
it.
so dope. I
It was
remember
so
that.
dope, and
Yeah.
I guess I'll just tell in this episode, like, we have plans to bring that back. I have plans to bring that back.
Yeah.
It's coming back. I've been in talks with Wargus. Shout out to him. But like this time I kind of want to bring it on like a Midwest scale. Like not just
Yeah.
Oklahoma, like Kansas, Arkansas, Texas, and do it for 8 weeks, and maybe have all of them come out. For the big event at War Guts, and keep it going like that, and just the Midwest. So just looking to expand a little bit more this time from that. But it's in the works, man, definitely. But just making that shift and that transition in terms of that. I know you talked about like just kind of your growth in this game, and how it is, like just trying to grind and develop and like get to the top and like putting in the work. What do you think like the biggest hurdle is when people are like getting into fighting games, right? Let's say like I'm playing another fighting game and I want to try to learn a game, or I'm just like first time trying to get into Tekken. What do you think, and
Mhm.
just like your experience out here and just the people you've seen try to put under your wing, and help them grow? What do you think the hurdles are, for them as a new player, and how do players get over that hurdle?
So the biggest hurdle, like, it's like any skill, you'll get good and competent at it if, as long as you like keep at it. And some people think I'm not competent. You're right. There's levels to this game, but like, as long as you're, consistent and be at it. The hardest part is mentality, getting
Mm,
people to stay on it. It's so hard for some people to like take a loss. I remember I lost to David. It was like 17-0, and I was like grinding the game. And I was like, I don't know if this game's for me. I might not be. You just got to keep going, and like, I think that's the biggest hurdle. Now, there's some things like, I have somebody who tells me that you can't, to be great, you can't be afraid to be bad. And so that means like when you're practicing, you have to be okay with being bad at things to really get good at them. I think that helps people get better faster, and really attacking your weaknesses instead of like doing the same stuff over and over and over again. But I think that mentality thing, that's the main thing, man.
yeah,
It's so hard for people to
yeah.
like,
I think we
and I
live
think
in
we
like
all go
a
through that at some point.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's I didn't mean to cut you off there, but
You're
like I
good.
just wanted to kind of like capitalize on that. I think we live in a society to where like everybody just wants that instant gratification, and I think that also applies in the FG. People just want to be instantly good at something, and like if they're
Yeah.
not, then it kind of just discourages them. Like, well, I'm putting in all this time, but I'm not getting there. But like they don't really realize, like when I play Ray or anybody, for example, when I was coming up, I knew like somebody like that had just years of experience over me, and
Yeah.
like it's one of those things where you have to just realize like, well, he's definitely had his start, he's definitely had his way before I have, so it's going to take a little bit to get there. But like, and even though like I still play Ray to this day, and like I mean I'll play sometimes he'll just 10-0 me, like,
Yeah.
GG's Ray, I'm getting off, see you later, and then some days I get over on him, vice versa, some days I play you, some days I get the better of you, some days you get the better of me.
It's
It's just
absolutely
staying
true.
consistent, the consistency.
So,
And
go ahead. My bad.
oh, go ahead.
So I 100% agree. And like you'll have that bad day. Like for example, I'll play Ray or something and I'll win, or I'll play Ray and I literally get 10-0 or something like that. Neither one of those days are true. Like you have to it's just that one time you played them. You can't make that the default if that's where you're at as a player.
Yeah.
Because it is like, a consistency thing. Like you just got to keep working on it to what were the mistakes just that one time.
Yeah.
So much you can get into this phase where like, oh, I got dominated. There's no way I can beat this guy. No, it was just small adjustments that we need to make.
Yeah. And just to capitalize on that, and like I want you to expand a little bit more when I ask you this, because I know recently you've been like doing a lot of traveling, tournament wise, and like you can kind of tell the scene, everywhere you've been and whatnot for anybody tuning in. But like just talk to me like how is it as a player, and maybe other people can relate in the chat or just listening to this when you go to a tournament, right? And you've been practicing and you've been like trying to prepare for this tournament and you've been working yourself up, and maybe you go there and like an 0-2 happens or you don't do as great as you thought you were going to do. Talk to me about like the mentality of just like trying to go home and improve on that, like just as a player, like obviously like nobody wants to lose. You don't want to lose.
I got two stories for you.
Okay.
I got back to back. So going to, and I'm sure most of like the people who like talk to me about this stuff, I always tell them about it. But I went to Frosty Faustein's last winter and was super excited. I thought I was going to do good. I was at least going to make it out of pools. Second round, I had to or second match, I had to play L Train. I lose to him barely because I choke. I choke on the combo ender. So I had it. I just lost it because, nerves get to you. You're not an experienced player. Your first time playing like a known player, like really known, who's, known across the nation.
Mm-hmm.
And so I choke that. And then I go win all my games. And I'm at the game to get out of pools. He loses again and has to fight me to get out of pools. And I lose to him again. So I traveled to Chicago to lose to L Train twice, and that disappointment can be pretty hard. But man, do I know the Lars matchup now, and that is stung in me now to learn that. There's some frames I'm never going to forget, and that's the thing about like these tournaments. As a quick aside, it puts emotional weight on it. So when you do make a mistake, it's burned in there. You're not going to make that mistake probably again. And so you can get some quick improvement that way.
Yeah.
The other one was DreamHack, where I thought, oh, I might get top 8. I'm feeling really good. Everybody there was a killer. Everybody was good. I lost to Real Noodle and Fusion, the Lucky Chloe player, and it's you can only play as good as you can, and you just take it one game at a time. But you have to just know like that's just that day. Maybe next time I'll get a huge upset and beat somebody that I'm not supposed to beat.
Yeah.
Even though in my mind you got to have that attitude, or beat Trojan or somebody. So.
Yeah. I mean, and that's just the mentality that you have to have. Like, look, somebody can beat you in casuals like 200-1, right? But in tournament, that doesn't matter. All you got to do is beat them those 2 times out of the best of 3. You beat anybody can be beat. Gods bleed,
So I've heard Fab Will talk about this as like pragmatically when he plays. He will get the mindset of like, even if they are technically like in everybody's mind better than them, he will never in his own mind, like kind of like a mental like practice, think anybody's better than him when he's playing.
You can't.
He's never playing up to anybody. He's always thinking, I'm the better player, I should win. And that will keep him in the mindset of like that, like I should win. Like you like, and that will keep him from choking, keep him from like having fear and stuff. Like I'm the winner. I should be better. I'm the better player.
Yeah.
Even though it's not true, you keep that in your mindset.
Yeah. And do you think that affects players? Like in terms of, do you think at tournament settings, like people just kind of get intimidated by just sitting next to like those known players or like players that are on the up and coming? Do you definitely think that's a factor in tournament? I mean, I think it is, but just asking you just as another person who competes, do you think that's a thing?
Hold on for a second. My phone. Can you speak again?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I think I'm a little soft on sound.
Check, check, check. How about that? A little bit better. Mic check. 1 2 1 2.
Hold on, I
Technical
might need to.
difficulties.
This is what happens when you do this on your phone. Someone
No,
called me and now the sound down out.
no, you're fine. You're fine. Let me hold on. I
Hold
got
on
you
for a
right
second.
here.
I'm gonna put some headphones on.
Okay, cool. I got you. No, and I'll do this too. I got you. I'll bring you on. I'll bring you off, and then I'll bring you back on. How's that? Does it sound a little bit better? How are we doing in the chat, by the way? Does everything sound okay in the chat, levels wise? Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me okay? Look, yo, I see TaylorSage, yo. He's like trying to. All sounds good. Okay, cool, guys. I just wanted to make sure that we're okay. I'm just like tuning in to my boy TaylorSage as we're trying to get him adjusted and whatnot. How is this, Taylor? You sound? Can you hear me okay? Are we all right?
You sound perfect. Someone called me and it like messed up the sound for a second.
Hey, no, you're okay, man. I just wanted to make sure we're like okay, we're good. You know, I got you back. Sorry for the inconvenience on the stream chat. You know what I mean? We just had technical difficulties, but just bringing it back to where I asked you. You know, we were talking about just do you think players get intimidated by just sitting next to those up and coming and known players? Because me personally, just as a competitor, just as somebody that's kind of been on both sides, you know, organizing everything, I do think that's a factor. I think people kind of let players get in their head before the match even starts. But do you think that's a thing?
I mean, absolutely. Like,
okay,
100%. Like, it's a huge factor.
Yeah.
There's some people who get in my head a little bit that I have to work on for whatever reason. For example, like Mario and Trojan, they have really good track records against me, but I will have a good track record against like True Bellingham for some reason. And but even if like they're just like a more known player, there's a fear behind that, like the unknown, or like getting embarrassed, or you feel like an imposter syndrome where you don't think you should win, even if you do. So absolutely. Like, how many times have we seen like some not as known player gets up on the round and they just find a way to lose?
Yeah.
I feel like that happens all the time.
Yeah.
And that's what being a better player is like, if you watch Anakin play, even when he's down, it's like, keep me from still stealing this from you. It always feels that way. Because he just has the confidence that he's going to still win. And that's a skill in itself, just being like, you're going to be solid the whole time. You're going to believe in your fundamentals and how good you are. And you're just going to outread your opponent and believe in yourself. And that just takes time and practice. And it's something I'm working on still.
Yeah. I definitely agree on that, man. Yeah. I mean, it's just like, that's the thing about fighting games. And I think the beauty in it, you know, it's always just like you're always working towards just to try to improve and get better and place better at your next tournament. I remember, like, you know, there were tournaments that, just in my experience, you know, like when I went to final round with, you know, Davidism and everything, and I got like 0-2'd out, you know, and like, of course I was playing on a Japanese lever, should have been on Korean lever, whatever. But like my mental was there were things that happened prior that just kind of took me out of it, you know, to the point where I didn't perform well, but there was guys I played and I'm like, man, I should have beat that guy. Like, I know I can beat that guy, you know? And, you know, but as I kept going, you know, Kumite and Texas came down a little bit later that year, you know? And I remember just playing, and like I was playing well, and then I played Friedel on stream, and he just bodied my shit, right? I mean, like, I was just you know, I think I was a little bit of nerves playing on stream in front of thousands of viewers, and like just like playing Friedel. I've known about him, and like mentally I was just scatterbrained, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like once I went to the losers bracket, I was like, okay, that's not gonna happen again. And like literally, like the pool I was in, it was just like Brian after Brian after Brian. I was just bouncing all these Brians out of the tournament, and it felt so good, right? Like, damn,
you know that matchup.
Like, yeah, I know this one. Like, I'm gonna be the Brian to make it out of this pool, and it happened, you know. And like, I ended up making like top 24, I think, at that tournament, which was cool, you know. Like, it was great. It was great for me. I think that was like a real pivotal point for me, you know. Like, damn, like I could see the work happening. I could see the foundation, you know. And even like David, you know, when we went to final round, I didn't do that great, but like David was like just putting in work at final round, you know, just bouncing dudes left and right. I think he almost made it out of the pool, or maybe did, if I'm not mistaken, right? But like, it was just tight to see, because like that was my homie, you know, like that was the guy I was playing with. And then we went to the second house, and he's like bouncing everybody off the porch at the Tekken house, you know, like, and it's just like, yeah, Oklahoma, bitch, you know, like we're just like repping, you know, it feels good when you just rep with your homies like that, you know, and go out of state. So again, like just moving on from that, like talk to me about representation. Do you think that's very important? Like when you're just like a state, right? And you have like your group of players that you play with, how important do you think that is, just like trying to have that overall representation going out of state? Does it matter? Should players worry about that? Or should they just focus kind of like on just improving, you know?
Nah. So like, I mean, there's some people like that are just like, they only care about themselves. But I see the community, like, one, I play a little bit because there's a community here, right? Like, I don't play just to get good. I play because I like having friends and like hanging out and stuff. But two, pragmatically as well, like repping the community helps the community. Like,
Yeah.
it gets people excited, gets people playing, and it makes me get better because I'm playing with people who want to play the game, and iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
So like you'll see that I don't even have NWO in my like what's it, the pre-initials. I have OKC.
Yeah.
As like, yeah, so I'm like huge, like the Texas guys know the Oklahomies. You want to talk about representation, ask anybody in Texas what they'll say everywhere they go. That's not when they just come here. That's when they go everywhere. They'll say Texas stand up.
Yeah.
Like they really like represent, like, and I love that. Like I think we should emulate that a little bit.
Oh,
like,
for sure.
Really take pride in Oklahoma. Like,
dude, I totally agree. And just like me coming up, it's funny because like I feel like for you, right? And you could correct me if I'm wrong. I definitely feel like Trojan and all those guys were like the guys out of Texas. You kind of felt like are like they're like home to you out of state. You know, like when you're like going to Texas, that's like your family outside of Texas,
yes,
right? Or like outside of Oklahoma. Excuse me.
So Al Diaz is my second local, is how I look at it. So I'm like Texas adjacent. I'm an Oklahoma to heart, but like those guys I love those guys.
Yeah. And like those guys mob everywhere. Like just this past weekend, I think they were at the All In Expo, and I was shocked to hear that. Like, shout out to them. Like it was on a Friday.
They're in my state.
Yeah, they just pulled up. Like here it is. We're here. I'm like, damn. You know, like I wish I would have been off. I wish, you know, like I would have known that was even taking place on a Friday. But it just, I was so impressed by those guys just coming out on a Friday like that. It just shows like how dedicated they are to the craft, you know, like, and you have to be like that. You have to be hungry like that, you know, and those guys are hungry. That's why they're doing so well, because they're just as a group, as a force, leveling up, you know,
think about, they got Azim out there. They got Trojan, who made top 25. They got Joe Crush out there. Yeah. Like the DFW crew just alone is just grinding. So True Bellion, I think, is going to be on the way up. Like, and it's because they care. Like even the people who are not like, you know, like one of the top players in our minds out there, they go out every local. They're showing up. They're asking questions. They're all getting good. Yeah. And that just feeds on itself.
Yeah. And like that's how it was when I was coming up, you know, like when I was coming up in the scene, you know what I'm saying, out here, the Texas guys that were really coming out all the time were like, I don't know if you know these players, like Omninus, Dr. Africa, Toy, all those guys. I mean, like those are just really the big three that I really remember the most. But like they would all come out. But even like when I went out of state anywhere, when I would go to final round, I would see those guys everywhere. They would just be like mobbed. I'm like, dude, I see these guys. They go everywhere together, you know, literally. And it's just, even though they didn't play the same games, they all were just like the same, like what you just said, Texas stand up. They just repped each other in their own games. And like, I think that's very important. I think as a community, like especially Oklahoma, we're not that big. So that's why I try to get everybody in the mental, like we're like, yo, we got to stick together. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
it's all we like it.
Yeah, we're all we got, man. You know what I mean? So we got to try to make the best of it in terms of that. So just talking about like locals and things like that, where do you see like Oklahoma just locally, you know what I mean? Just talk about Oklahoma community and just give me your take on it. What do you think about us out here?
So I'm definitely seeing like an uptick of like participation right now. So I'd say like a year and a half ago, probably the deadest it was being, when I was kind of running, like maybe a year ago was probably the deadest it was ever been. And now I'm like seeing real participation in the chats and people going to stuff, and I think especially since like there's new, you know, they had the new patch in Tekken and stuff like that. And even just some fighting games in general. There's going to be more fighting games coming out in the next couple of years. I think in the next year or two, it's going to be bigger than pre-pandemic. Like I think it's going to be really, really big. So I'm really optimistic, right? Like I really think like It's going to be huge. I do think we need to get registered local that we can get every month. I think we need to find that more consistently. Whether that we go to Tulsa or whether we find something in Oklahoma City, I think we need to do that to kind of help us with that. And a monthly that like really helps. And maybe it's me bringing Buffalo Brawl back. I might need help with that, or us finding another avenue. I would like to get a monthly that is, bam, we do it every month. We're all like training for it.
Yeah.
Something like
And
that.
and that's kind of what I was talking about with like just like the bringing back the Oni League, you know. And I don't think I just want to call it the Oni League, you know, when I bring it back, but just something to that where if people don't want to come out, you know what I mean, and support it offline, then maybe just bring it to them online. You know, maybe that's what we have to do. We have to kind of shift gears because the pandemic kind of messed a lot of shit up. Let's just keep it a buck. And I feel like we're in that recovery phase, just kind of like how the economy is, how everything is. The FGC is kind of in that recovery phase. And sometimes you have to cater. Sure, nobody likes playing online, but like if nobody wants to leave the house, then it's like, what do you do? You know, and that's kind of where I'm at with it. I mean, like, sure, we have those guys that like you, me, and like the normals that you always see, but like I'm sure there are people that want to participate that may have just like a crazy work schedule and can't come out all the time. So like, I don't know. That was just my idea of like maybe we just bring it back like a just like every Friday, you know, we start at 7 and like not just have tech and go for every game, you know, and just and try to have like a league go and then have like one big one for everybody that played in the league the whole 2 months and bring it to War Gutses, you know.
So I would love that. I think that'd be a really cool idea. I think more the thing is whatever we do, even if it's, let's say it's not even a local, let's say it's like a casuals. I do think community is a huge part, like human contact, face to face. One, because it's a reason for people to play. And it's not just because of the intrinsic value of getting better or learning or anything like that. They will play just to hang out with other people. Some people like really gravitated like that. I was that way.
Yeah.
So I would, I played because, you know, like I get to hang out with you guys on the speak every month, right? Something like that. And I also like, even let's say if your goal is to get better, that face-to-face contact, the exchange of information is so much easier to get better. Instead of, you know, even though we're on a microphone and we are talking to each other, there's just something different when you're in person where you can exchange that information, where you can get it out there to get better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you bring the Odin League back, I'm going to be the first person to sign up. Like,
I appreciate that, man.
I'm gonna be again. It's gonna be like WCW where I'm talking trash, bringing out the belt, calling people out. By the way, just like FGC in general, they need more of that. I need more promos before matches and stuff.
Yeah,
and call outs.
Yeah. I think that type of shit is sick. I do. I know some people are kind of like, I feel like, here's the thing. I feel like a lot in the scene, a lot of guys like, and this is where I really kind of got it right. When I was at the Tokyo OK event, I'll talk about this event like last month, right?
Yeah.
And the Kansas City guys came down for Street Fighter. Now I don't play Street Fighter, right? But like, dude, I'm in there talking cash shit to these guys, right? Because I'm just like, you know, it's Oklahoma. Like I got a rep. And it was like, you could just kind of feel the energy, right? At first, I'm like they were into it, but I'm like, yeah, you know, like, yeah, you know, I'm like clapping, like, let's go, like, get them out of here. And then like those guys started feeding on it, like, oh yeah, you know, and they would and then the room just started like, you could just feel the momentum just start to like, everybody started to get into it, right? And I'm just like, that's what I try to tell people, like, talk your shit, man. Like, you rep your state, man. Like, don't feel, you know, like, I just feel like people just kind of don't, like, I don't know, maybe if we're just, like, society is just more sensitive to things like that nowadays or what, but, like.
I don't know if it's that. Like, if you were to do a before and after me getting in the scene, like, I was Mr. like, never key charge, like, always say positive things. Like, now if you get me on here, like, you would have to censor me when I'm in the chat every time with you guys. Like, I think there's a comfortability when you play a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And you're just more used to that environment. I think some people are new and they just don't want to like talk that shit when they're like brand new. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think so too. Maybe. Yeah. But at the same time, I try to get those guys to just really understand, like, you go anywhere, like, and I've talked to like BG and Bash and all these guys about this. Like, you go places like Atlanta and stuff like that, man, and like, or just anywhere where it's like really thick like that, man, you're gonna hear it. I mean, you're gonna hear it. Dudes are gonna straight up ask you, "You find a money match right now? Like 40? We'll play right now." And it's kind of like it's like a shock if you're not used to it, you know. Like, those guys do this like for the regular out here. Like, we don't do that out here, you know.
You should ask Mario in the chat what it was like when I was talking about the L Train match. What the shit talking was like for that. It was off the wall. Like,
it is, you know.
It wasn't. And by the way, it wasn't me or him. It was everybody else around us. Like,
everybody else.
The most absurd shit you've ever heard. Like,
for real, man. And I just think, like, if you're not used to that, like, it's definitely uncomfortable when you're not used to it. And that's why I do it out here, to try to just get everybody used to it. Like, well, this is, if you think this is bad, like, wait till you go here. Like, it's gonna be even worse. You know what I mean? So I guess coaching up in a way, just for the locals and things like that. So I just try to bring a little sauce from other states that I've learned and experienced, like, to our state, you know, and do it that way. But you know, everybody kind of interprets it their own way, and like, oh, well, he's just like, maybe he's just toxic. I don't ever want to feel like, if you guys ever feel like I'm like toxic or anything, let me know, because I never.
I think make it like intentions matter and making them clear. Like, if you're dapping people up and you're like at the end, you're like, you know, I love you, man. Like, stuff like that. You'll see Jack will talk like the craziest stuff to me, but every time he does it, he'll whisper in my ear, "Man, I love you, man. Good games," like stuff like that. Yeah. And so, like, it shows intention that he's doing it for fun, not because of ill will.
Yeah. And that's how it kind of felt with like Kansas when I was talking to those guys. Like, I think they were just thinking, like, they didn't know me. So like, me just talking shit, they were probably just like, who the fuck is this guy, like, running his mouth? You know what I mean? Like, you know, and then like, but afterwards, you know, like, I sat down with those guys, like, hey man, like, I appreciate you guys like coming out and supporting us.
Yeah, I think, dap them up.
You know, a lot of scenes, in the Midwest and just us, I think we're missing out on a lot of that, right? I think like we need to branch out to Kansas City and Arkansas and in Texas. At one point, those guys used to come down here pretty frequent, and like, I don't know what happened, but those are the guys that are going to help us grow. So like, you know, them just coming out and supporting us, like, that meant the world to me. And shout out to Kansas, you know, Street Fighter, all those guys that did come. And like, even afterwards, they were like, yo, like, the next time, like, it was fun. We want to bring out more people the next time. And like, I kind of want to just use that as like a kick in the ass to our state. Like, yo, you guys need to level up. These guys came out here and like really just kicked. I don't want to say it, but just kicked your fucking teeth in. You know what I mean? Yep. Like, seriously, like, and just like talk to me about like just you know, like when you guys had the War Goods Grand Open and like the 5v5. How did that go? Like, did you guys think-
Oh, it's horrible. Yeah. So
like, talk to me about it. Did you think it was gonna go the way it went? Like, what were you guys' expectations? Obviously.
So my expectations are, I mean, I didn't expect us to go 0-5. For example, they're all really, 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 really good. So I knew that it was going to be tough. We didn't have Ray there, and if we had a Kosh, we would have won, right? But they're all like, they're just so deep. But, you know, like, players like me, Ray, and like Mario, and like, they have 10 of those kind of guys, right? Like, they're just really deep with like really good players.
Yeah.
So like, you know, I definitely didn't expect us to go 0-5, but it was not fun to do that. Yeah. We just got to level up as a team, you know, just kind of get better.
And to, you know, like, even when I watched, I didn't think, I mean, like, by like the third game, I was kind of like, oh man, like, you know, like, I just was like, oh, like, I'm like watching like
it'd be like that. It stinks because like I played, so I beat Rasta. I got third in that. I beat Rasta in the tournament, but lost in the 5v5.
Yeah.
And I was like, I kind of wish I would have rather won the 5v5.
Yeah, the 5v5, and like, you know, you
I won that. At least I would have got that notch. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can definitely feel like the atmosphere in the chat. You know, like, they were like, when's the 5v5? Like, they were waiting for that. You know, like, that's what. And it was cool to see. It was cool to orchestrate and coordinate. You know, like, we need more of that. Like, I think that helps us get better. It helps us grow. Even though we took 5, you know, 0-5, like, the next time, like, I don't think it's going to go down like that. Me personally, I don't think it's going to go down like that.
And Algiers wants us to come up there. So they want a new 5 up there sometime in winter. So they want to do this, like, one in February, like one in like August, something like that.
Yeah.
So every 6 months we do one there, we do one here.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that'd be pretty healthy, man. And like I said,
but so I do think like as a scene right now, for the exception of Akash, like I would say they're a little deeper in talent, right? But I do think we're getting better as a scene. Like if you watch like Mario play, Mario's probably one of the most improved players this year. Ahab obviously keeps growing every single year. I just think we got some guys who are really improving a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say the same, man, definitely.
Mhm.
And I think we got guys that like just aren't playing right now that just kind of are just they're just kind of chilling, you know, like because truthfully, let's just be honest. Like when Tekken kind of came out with the World Tour and like this new patch, I don't think anybody was asking for this new patch. I wasn't, you know, I was expecting like we're gonna see Tekken 8. I wasn't expecting that, but I knew as soon as the World Tour got announced, I was like, we're not gonna get that until this is done. So I think a lot of people are just kind of sitting on the sidelines, just waiting for Tekken 8. But like I just try to like, you know, like and like guys like you, guys like you just push it to where like, okay, well, we have to grind out one more year until we get the game. So let's just do it. You know, like let's just suck it up. Let's just try to do it, do the best we can, and just move forward from that. But it definitely.
Mhm.
What do you think about that, man? The whole just Harada and like you know Michael Murray and them not really. Were you disappointed when you just like the trailer and talk to me about that? Like, what were you? What was your initial reaction?
Yeah, so I wanted something, right? Like, and I don't know, and what we got, I don't think is something. I still
Yeah,
think it's nothing.
yeah,
I mean, yeah, I'm sure Tekken 8 is going to come out at some point. Um, it's just been so long, just waiting so long for that, and what I'm afraid is that they're going to wait too long. So there's a lot of hype for Tekken 7. I'm really committed, like you know, group of hardcore fans for it. But if they keep waiting, I think they'll overstay their welcome and miss out on like getting Tekken 8 out there with a
yeah,
big launch.
yeah,
And so that's why I want them to like get Tekken 8 done. Um, so yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of like all the
yeah,
stuff they had, but it's
yeah,
I mean, there's more content now. They buffed Jack, so I have to be happy about that. Like,
yeah. And yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. Like I was kind of looking to just get back on the horse a little bit, you know, just kind of play
I mean,
out
I like
until
the TV
Tekken 8.
show, by the way. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to the TV show. The TV show
yeah,
was it was pretty straight. I mean, it was kind of I don't know, like that's a whole
I feel like
episode
if
in
you
itself.
weren't into Tekken, you might not be like that. Might not be your thing. But for me, it was good because I'm
Yeah,
already like drank the Kool-Aid.
yeah, yeah. You're just like you're in. Oh yeah, you're in there, bro. You straight Kool-Aid smile, all that, bro.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, So just kind of like, you know, I wanna shift gears, right? And like go back and talk about like the community, right? Because I'm just, you know me, man. I'm really about just like the Oklahoma growth. I really want everybody to grow out here. And you know, it's just like one of those things where I feel like we're kind of like it's tough right now. It's really tough because one, there's not a lot of like, you know, there's not a lot of monthlies going on, right? And when those events are going on, I feel like they're kind of like in conflict of like people's work schedules. So like not everybody gets to come out and like just get to attend the events or like get the support. You know, like shout out my man Jello, like at Smashcade, you know, like over there, you know, he was doing his thing. And I had felt like for him, it was kind of like I know at maybe one point he had felt like the scene wasn't really supporting him like that, but you know, like was trying to tell him it's not even like that. You know, it's just like you kind of gotta get your feet a little wet in here and let people just kind of see you and just expand and do that, right? So like as a scene, how do we? What is like our thing just like locally, right? How do we improve as a local? Like just you know, like whether it's just like going out to support other people's events, like what do TOs need to do? What do players need to do? What is your take on that?
So I think like our take needs to be just like I don't think that people need to go crazy with this, but participation as much as they can. That's all it takes. So like if a lot of people show up, more people show up. It's one of those things where it's like a snowball where it builds on itself, right?
Yeah,
Somebody will go to an event more likely if there's 20 people there than if there's 5 people there, if that makes sense.
yeah,
So they get that extra person.
yeah,
I'm a big fan of, talking in the chat, asking people for games, like just those little things gets people involved in the community, which feeds on itself. People are involved in the community. They'll go out to more, getting in people's like Twitch chats and stuff like that. I think we need to do a better job of that. like supporting each other. Like if any of us want to stream or if any of us want to like, host an event or something like that, we support each other. Bring a friend if anybody's interested in tech and get them involved. My biggest thing is if I meet somebody and they're not in the FGC lounge, they're getting in the FGC lounge. I'm adding them to that. And I've had other people like Mario does a really good job of that. He makes sure everybody gets in that lounge just so like we're all in one place. We can find each other. But yeah, and then on the TO side, we need to get a monthly. I think that needs to be like, honestly, like 2-day, August 28th, whatever it is. We need to find a consistent local right now.
Yeah. I definitely think that's what we're lacking out here, just as a state. Consistency. There's just not enough consistency, and it's hard for everybody to kind of just get on the same page because everything kind of just died, man. I mean, it's War Guts kind of like, I feel like literally the one-man band out here. Just personally, just me, my take on it. I feel like he's like trying to just like do everything, and there's just not a lot of support, maybe not a lot of just I've heard things are like, and you can kind of vouch for me and like maybe agree or disagree on me. Like a lot of the scene, I know they talk about like advertisement out here, like things aren't getting pushed out like as they should. Like people aren't getting enough leadway to like, have the time to do things. So do you think we like kind of lack like in that as a scene, like promotion wise? Do you think venue wise, do you think we have issues like location wise? Like do you think, I mean, you kind of expand on that a little bit.
TOs need to do a better job of putting stuff on social media. See, that's simple. They just need to do a better job of that.
Yeah.
So if you have an event, why not promote it?
Yeah.
Just so everybody knows. I think that'd make a big difference. But I mean, they do a good job like putting the events though. They do such a wonderful job.
Right.
That's and I always have a blast, and I always like, I love it. Just get that promotion on there.
Yeah.
Facebook post.
Yeah, I mean, like that's my thing. Like trying to, and that's the thing too. Like I know, like all the Discords. There's just so many.
There is.
I'll say this. I'll say this again. I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. I just feel like Oklahoma, we are not that big enough to have everybody in a different Discord. It just all needs to be in one spot. As I truly, to this day, I think that like it's easier to obtain that information. It's easier. Like even when we were doing the Tokyo OK promotion, there was literally people the week of like, when is it? I'm just like, dude. And I get it. Some people just don't read. Some people just like they're just terrible with information.
And they're coming back and forth from reading posts. Like they're not checking up on it every day.
Yeah.
Like I get that.
Yeah. But I mean, I definitely think that's a thing out here. Like information is just so like fumbled out here. Like it's all over the place, and it's not just boom, 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 boom. And that kind of just prevents the growth and just having like some consistency. I definitely think that, man. But I mean, we're talking about all these negatives. What do you think we do as a positive out here, like Oklahoma? What do you think we do good?
I think we're really like as a scene members, I think we're one of the best with inclusivity. Like we'll take you in, baby. Like you have 2 legs, you can play on a stick or controller. You're an FGC member.
Yeah.
Like and I love that about us. Like
yeah.
I think we have great personalities. Like I think we're great vibes. Like we got talent here. Like there's a lot of great things we're doing. Like I love being in Oklahoma City. I love it here.
Yeah.
Like it's awesome.
Yeah.
I critique it so much because I love it.
That's how I am, man. I'm so passionate about it. Like I get mad, but I get mad because I just know we're supposed to be way bigger than what we are in the Midwest. I feel that we're right in the middle of the US. Like why not? Why can't we have it here? Why can't it be out here? That's how I try to think about it. Like why not? But also I think there was just a lot of powers that have kind of been in position out here and truthfully have fucked it over for a lot of us out here. And now we're like in this rebuild phase. I definitely think that's a thing. But that's a whole nother episode in itself there. But I mean, we're like just trying to move forward now. We got guys out here really pushing, and trying to get it going. So I'm happy about that. Like, listen, I've definitely contemplated about trying to move to other states and do things, but like there's just something about Oklahoma. This is where I got my start. Like this is where I found the people that I rock with, you know, and like I've seen
Yeah.
just so many people come and go. It's hard for me to just pick up and leave like that. It really is, man. Like, I really want to see it shine out here. So, but I'm just fighting the good fight. You know, I'm trying to, you know, like,
Yeah,
even with
yeah,
this
yeah.
podcast and like putting this out there for everybody and like you
Make
know, just
content.
yeah, just we need that. We need more content, and I encourage like anybody that's making content or who has a say or has a voice and wants to be a voice, come out here, man, and like do it. You know, you need more leads like that. I mean, a lot of you give me the nickname Moses, right? But like,
It's Moses.
I don't try, I don't like, you know what I mean?
Make my Let my people go.
Yeah, like I
Follow
don't try
you.
to, I don't try to like
Follow
get
you
on
in the
that too
desert.
much. Yeah, but like, you know, like I guess I'm just getting to the point where like I guess I've accepted it. Like, you know, if that's what they want, then like give it to them. You know, you got to give it to them. So, but moving for that, man. Moving from that, man. Just talking about, you know, more of the scene and everything like that. You know, obviously we just talk about, you know, how we can improve and things like that. Just shifting gears, man. I know we kind of been talking for a little bit, like over an hour now, like close to an hour and things like that. So I don't want to keep you for too long. And I've been
Mhm.
appreciating everybody in the chat giving feedback and just like you coming on the show, bro, and even just being a part of this. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
had to give my man TaylorSage love because I feel like for real, honestly, you were in my eyes, like the most improved in the Tekken 7 out here, period. I mean, I just remember like, yeah, going to Kellen's and like playing in those offlines and like just every day, like trying to get better and just the growth, man. I mean, just like the
Yeah.
past 2 years, it's kind of crazy to just sit here and just think about like, damn, man, like these dudes are really growing. Like, but like, you know,
It
I just
doesn't.
would have never
It felt
thought.
like a long time ago. It doesn't feel
It
like
did.
it's so
It
long ago.
does.
Yeah.
It
This
doesn't
took a
even.
lot of work. Like.
Yeah, it does. It took a lot of work. I mean, and I'm very proud of you, bro.
Yeah.
I don't think I say it enough. I mean, I tell you all the time. Every time I talk to you, like, bro, I'm proud of you, dog. Like, I always knew, T Sage, that you were gonna definitely like spread your wings out here, and you have, man. So I like salute to you for that. But this part of the show, right? I kind of want to just like pick your brain a little bit, you know. And this is kind of like the fun segment. You know, we just talk about like FGC stuff like that, and you know, just little questions and things like that, right? So like, man, I just kind of want to hit you with these questions, man, and just talk to me, right? Like, if you were on an island, you know what I mean, and like you could only have like one OST on this island, bro. Like, what are you bringing? I know we bounce a lot of music off each other, things like
OST.
that. Yeah, man. So like, what
Oh,
fighting game? Any I won't even say fighting games, but just any type of soundtrack, bro. What are you bringing on this island?
are you saying movie or video game?
Video game. We're strictly
Video
video
game?
games. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've been rocking to the TMNT. That's not going to be my answer, but just side note. The new TMNT game, Shredder's Revenge.
It's
You
got a
haven't checked
pretty
that out, dude.
It's got a pretty. I've played it. I've actually beat it with my man Ray. The soundtrack is actually fire. I can co-sign that.
All right, I might lose. Man, what am I going to pick?
It's a tough decision. I mean, every time I bring somebody on the show, this is always the tough one for them, man. Like nobody just boom off the hip.
All right, the two that are in my mind right now. I'm not going to pick any like fighting game ones. I don't want to be amped up on the, training in the jungle while I'm in there. But
Okay.
either God of War, I love that soundtrack for, or Hollow Knight. Probably Hollow Knight.
Hollow Knight.
Yeah, I like that soundtrack.
I've never listened to that. I've never listened to that one.
It's pretty great. It's kind of like it's like an orchestra does it, but it's like, I don't know. You just have to listen to it.
I just gotta peep that out, right?
Just gotta listen to it, man. Try it out.
I definitely will, man. I'll give it a listen. You know, just send me that link.
Oh.
All right. So like we're talking about consoles, right? I mean, obviously you play a majority of your Tekken on PC. I imagine before you played a little bit of PS4. So like you know, like favorite video game console, man. And I mean, this could go back as far as you want to take it, man. And give me your favorite game on that console as well.
Okay, so my favorite game. Oh man, it's down to 3. It's either the PS2, the N64, or the Super Nintendo.
Okay. But if you had to narrow it down to one, man, like what's the one you're taking? Like there can only be one.
There can only be one, dude.
Only be one, dude. I know, man. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. Like I know it just stomps you out, bro. Like every time. I'm just like, hiya! I just put this.
I'm gonna just do like. All right, I'll be real safe with my pick.
Okay. I'm waiting.
Oh shit! Here we go again. Come on.
The phone call comes in, bro. Like, dude, you just
Phone
straight
call
up.
coming in.
Yo, straight up when it's like the heat of the moment.
Hold on.
No, you're good. You're good. I got you. You're still good. You're coming in. I got you. Tell them you'll call them back, bro. This is a very key question, a very pivotal question that you have to answer, I know you're probably, pulling up some Google on your phone, just try to Google your top console with game. I know that's what it kind of looks
If
like.
you can hear me, my top console is going to be, I'll say PS2.
Okay.
San
That's respectable.
Andreas.
San Andreas? Okay. That's respectable. That's definitely respectable.
I was into the past and N64, but I'm going to say PS2 San Andreas. I think that's what I want.
I mean, and that was probably the best-selling game on PS2. So I can.
It probably was.
Yeah. I without a doubt, I think that was the best-selling game on PS2. So that makes sense.
I'm trying to think right. I mean, I rocked down to like Jack and Daxter and stuff.
Yeah,
too.
classics.
Jack and Daxter too. Like even like NFL Street, I was like streaming that for a second again. I was like, this game's so fun.
Yeah.
We'll go with that. We'll go with
San Andreas?
San Andreas. We'll just do that.
Okay. And on the PS2, so PS2 all-time console. That's what you're taking.
That's the answer. Final answer.
That's respectable.
Yeah.
Okay. So like, what is your favorite video game character? And it doesn't even have to just be like a fighting game character. You could just talk about characters in general. Like.
What a great question. My favorite video game character.
And there's a lot of them, There's
just like so much to bite into there.
Yeah. I know I'm stomping you out with these last few questions, man. I know I'm big braining you. I'm really big braining you right now.
I'm getting fucked up here. I'm so not pulling anything right now.
I'm telling you, it's a stopper, bro. I mean, like, look, you don't even have to. I know you weren't prepared for this. I know there was no script.
Why would you do this to me? Why would you?
I do it to I do it to everybody that comes on the show,
that.
man. And it's just like everybody. It's the same way. It's like, damn, like their brain is like getting mixed, bro. I just mixed you up on the podcast without even playing you in a fighting game.
I didn't even see it coming. All right, we'll just go like.
We'll go where?
We'll go. I don't know. The boss and Kirby. How's that?
Okay. I mean, definitely. I was not expecting that. I definitely.
I don't know, Warrior.
If that's your final answer,
can't think of anything.
It's your answer,
right
bro. It's not my answer. It's your answer.
I can't pull anything right now.
I can't.
It hurts my brain. I don't know. I like Kratos a lot. I'm a huge God of War fan. Everybody knows that. Yeah. Oh, Senua and Hellblade. That's my answer.
Okay.
I love Hellblade. I should have gone that with my favorite game. I love Hellblade.
That's respectable, man. I mean, that's a good pick, man. I mean, it's your pick. It doesn't have to. Who cares what anybody else thinks? It's your pick, bro. It's your pick.
Listen, I got an answer. We found one that I feel good about where I landed. All right.
Yeah. All right. I mean, final answer. That's yours, bro. Okay. It's yours. And I guess like another question I have for you, and kind of just like my final one, man. Who do you look up to, like in terms of like you can maybe just keep this like FGC wise or just whatever, maybe in life. What do you look up to for inspiration, man? Who's inspired you, just along your just lifetime, or just maybe in the FGC, or just in general, man? Who would you say?
Yeah, so people, I'd say I look up to like FGC wise locally, like people I've looked up to is like Raybone, Killa. I think RBK is like the father of OKC Tekken. Um, there's a lot of, there's a lot of people who I've looked up to as like men that I wanted to be like. Even like you and Ahab and Mario, like I really like who they are as people that I've looked up to.
Man, I appreciate that,
Um,
man. That's
I,
that's really big, man. I
I
didn't think
like,
that.
my family. I'm a nerd. I'm into presidents.
Yeah. No, I mean that's wherever you find that inspiration, bro.
Yeah, Theodore Roosevelt, Julius Caesar.
Like,
You know, I like. I don't know. I depends on what level of that. There's. If you were to ask me when I was younger, the answer would have been like Jim Morrison for all the wrong reasons, right?
yeah.
But yeah, I'm like me getting older. I'm more into like the cheesy stuff now, like people being nice to each other and like good vibes and positivity. That's the most
Uh,
important thing to
that's
me
what it's
now.
about, man. That's
Yeah,
definitely what it's about. I mean, like,
I'm all
yeah,
about the cheese nowadays. Yeah,
yeah. And I wouldn't even call it cheese, man. That's just
yeah,
being a good person, bro. I think that
yeah.
a lot of people just have kind of strayed from that, and I think we need to get back to definitely that type of stuff, man, for sure. And me out here, like I said, I try to. That's how I just like approach the FGC. I always try to just do right by everybody,
Oh,
like
another Tekken person would be Tara, especially when I was newer. Like I looked up to her a lot when I was a
yeah.
newer player, and David.
Shout out to Tara.
Um,
Shout out to my man Davidism. I tell
Yeah,
Davidism, he's
when I
like,
first started playing, I thought David and Tara and them were the coolest. Like they were so good. Like
yeah.
so, I
I,
had aspirations to be where they were at.
Look, I tell David all the time,
Mm.
I'm like, dude, you're like the little Maj in Oklahoma. I tell him that. Like, you're like the
Yeah,
people's champ, man. You really are. I don't think
he is the people's champ.
he really
Yeah.
doesn't understand it, but I'm like, dude, that's like really literally, man. People like just get a kick out of just seeing you play the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like hone that,
And he plays Armor King. Close
Yeah, he
enough.
just plays the AK, he's just the AK straight up. Yeah, but that was like my training partner. That's who I came up with, was my man
Right.
Davidism. Shout out to him. Like every day in the Discord, we're just talking shit to each other, and we play in tournament, talk shit to each other. Like that's my dog for sure. Like shout out to David, man. If you're watching this, man, shout out to you, man. I got love for you, man, always. But yeah,
So
man. I
important.
mean, yeah, just important. But listen, man, like I don't want to keep you too much longer, man. I just wanted to like again, man, thank you for like coming on the show. All you guys in the chat, thank you guys for coming out and just supporting this podcast. And I'm gonna have this uploaded on Spotify. I'm gonna have this on YouTube, the video aspect of it here. But like really just this, I would say the scene has inspired me to kind of just come back and like do my content and do like what I'm trying to do, and then just like bring this stuff to you guys and like have something where we have like a kind of like an ESPN, like for our own little state, like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
definitely like I feel like I kind of just try to play my lane like in terms of that. And that's what I like to do. I'm passionate about. So like here we are, season 2, trying to get back on the horse and just do this for you guys and just bring the scene, just fighting games, because fighting games are just they're very important to me. I don't think I've realized how important they are to me, but they definitely are. They've impacted my life a lot. Just the people I've met, like you, David, uh, Ray, for sure. Um, a lot of other people that I've, before even all this tech and shit, the people I've met. I've met a lot of people through fighting games for sure, in state, out of state, and it's just a big impact. And I don't think it'll ever go anywhere. But do you have any final remarks, man, or anything? Talked about. I mean, obviously, I have it down at the bottom, man. People can find you on Twitch, Twitter, down below if you guys haven't peeped them out. But like, anything you want to kind of like just add, or like, we didn't talk about, you want to speak on, or
I'm just yeah. I mean, you can find me on Twitter and all that, and in Twitch. But meet me in person. Let's get some games. If you're most of you guys are in the FGC, let's get some games at some point. But I'm just so excited for like the next couple years. I think this place is gonna blow up, and of course, like it's just so important to me to be in the scene. It's I've made so many great friends, and wouldn't change it for the world. It really is like it's amazing what one game can do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For sure. And that's how I look at it. You know, like I just look at the history of Tekken, and like I don't really realize there's just a lot of players and a lot of figures that I don't think they really realize how much impact that they've had out here.
I mean, think
And like
about it. It takes the whole community. Like, Ray and Juan and those guys had to like start it there, and like it just builds on itself. Like everybody's chipping in. Like
yeah.
it's like if you ever get a
Like
chance, maybe talk to Ahab, like how much he does behind the scenes. You'd be surprised how much work he does, like for the
yeah.
community. It's amazing.
A lot of people, man,
Mhm.
and like that's how I think about like the speakeasy. When we were looking back, I don't really just realize how much impact that had on the scene, but like I think about it myself, like, dude, we impacted the scene a lot. Like that impacted a
Yeah,
lot of people, you know, like it was fun, like people were into it, and it was people were coming to support us, and like that's just crazy to me. Like that's just wow, you know, you're just doing what you love, and like you're seeing the results of it. And I really want to get back to that. I really want to just get back to pushing that again, you know. And like I said, the pandemic kind of just bodied everything. And like we're talking pandemic, that's in the past now. So we just need to move forward as a scene and just grow from here. Because like I agree with you, whenever the new games come out, like I feel like we're buying the stock low right now, and we're gonna try to, you know, just ride it to the top for
oh
real,
yeah,
literally. And
we're gonna be like the old heads now.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And I just, like I said, I'm grateful for everybody here. I'm grateful for the Discord. I remember that Discord that we're in. There was like just me, David, and like 3, 4 other homies, and now we're like 200 plus members in the Discord. Like I never thought the FGC Lounge would get to where it was at today, and it's crazy. Like we literally just, it's a community, and like it's just mind blowing to me, you know. So I'm always truly grateful for everybody, man. But I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up, man. You know, I appreciate again, like I said, everybody in the chat, everybody tuning in. This was kind of like short notice, but I just felt like I needed to get it out and just get it going, you know, get it going. And Taylor, I thank you for taking time out of your Sunday to come talk to me. I know it's football. I know your Kansas City Chiefs are probably losing today.
Shut up.
like but no, man, I appreciate you taking your time out, man, and just supporting me and just, you know, always in my ear and just trying to push me. And for real, man, I'm forever grateful. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this episode of the Koopa Key podcast with my man TaylorSage. And
Uh,
yeah,
I love you. Appreciate you guys. I'm gonna be watching in every week. Keep putting this out, Coop. So keep putting more stuff out.
okay, man, I definitely will, man. You guys hold me to that, all right? The scene, you guys in here in the chat now, you guys hold me to that. Coop, where's it
Hold me
at?
to. Where's it
If it's
at?
not, if it's not dropping.
I'm tuning in every week. So
For sure, man. And I'm gonna have this uploaded. This will probably come out Monday. The rewind of this, and I'm gonna upload this on Spotify. I'll get those links out to you guys in the FGC lounge and everything like that, and we'll just go from there, man. But again, I appreciate you guys. All right, you guys have a blessed Sunday. I hope you guys enjoy your day. I hope you guys have a great week ahead of you. And until the next one, all right, take it easy. Peace.